December 1st, 1977. A normal day for everyone, except for one thing. Pinwheel hit the scene. A brand new network with titles such as Pinwheel, Livewire, You Can't Do That on Television, and many more. But what was initially scheduled for a February 1979 launch, Nickelodeon was officially launched on April 1st, 1979, as the first ever all-children's network on Warner Cable franchises across the country. It got pretty big. It started releasing shows like Doug, Rugrats, The Ren and Stimpy Show, Rocko's Modern Life, and many more. But sadly, as for our current years, Nickelodeon has fallen into somewhat obscurity, and it isn't releasing as many memorable shows as it did back then. And this is why I bring up the question today. What happened to Nickelodeon, and what caused its downfall? As we have already discussed, from the years 1981 to 1999, they had some amazing shows, but this was only the beginning. With plenty of shows under their belt and amazing cartoons, both kids and adults loved them. Nick was gaining momentum and was quickly making a name for itself. So you're probably wondering, what could have caused an entire network of good shows to start at a decline? Well, it is quite simple. Times were changing. Things that were once allowed on TV were slowly becoming frowned upon, and its older shows were ending and new ones were coming out. It's just the newer ones weren't as appealing to their old audience, but it did still bring them in a ton of viewers. Eventually, in the early 2000s, there were shows like Fairly Odd Parents, My Life as a Teenage Robot, Mighty B, Danny Phantom, and plenty more. But I believe there's more to this than meets the eye. A show that set a standard for all shows in this network that they would try to replicate again and again. That show is...
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can't hear you!
Aye, aye, Captain!
Oh!
Yeah, that's right. SpongeBob gets his own section. And are you really gonna blame me? SpongeBob is the mascot of Nick. I believe if it weren't for SpongeBob, Nick wouldn't be as famous as they are right now. SpongeBob SquarePants, the brainchild of Steven Hillenburg, and the show that would boost Steven to be known as a cartoon giant. Steven was a marine biologist who was also a cartoonist, and had an idea for a show called SpongeBob Ahoy. Only issue was that the name SpongeBob was trademarked, so they then changed it to SpongeBob SquarePants. The show first premiered on May 1st, 1999 on the 1999 Kids' Choice Awards, then on the network on July 17th, 1999. The show became an instant classic in my book. It was one of the best shows still going on today. Yeah, still going on today, as Nick has just refused to let the show die. On November 14th, 2004, SpongeBob got a theatrical release called The SpongeBob SquarePants Movie. It made $141 million in the box office. But after that, Hillenburg decided to leave the show, as he felt 3 seasons was the right amount a show should last for. But since Nick thought otherwise, they kept it going. And why blame them? The show was a hit, so to stop it that early would have been a bad move on their part. The show was greenlit for a 4th season, and it still goes on today. Steven actually did return in 2017 to work on the show, and I'm glad he did. The show had devolved into nothing but gross out humor and boring jokes. It was clear the writing team were running out of ideas after season 5. Now, let's go back a little bit. Go back to the year 1994, and talk about some competition that had just come out for Nickelodeon.
Hurry up! We're not even supposed to be on this channel!
Cartoon Network is. Ooh, hey, pretty mama.
Johnny! Oh, Cartoon Network's got this thing, right? It's called Cartoon Fridays, and we're on it. Hurry up! Okay! These are our shows. All your favorite cartoons back to back, with a new episode every Friday. They're on Fridays at 7, over on Cartoon Network. You might like to switch over there now.
Somebody's coming!
We'll see you over there.
Hey!
Oh, dear.
Now let me take you back a little. October 1st, 1992. Cartoon Network hit the scene and first started with old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, but soon brought with it some hard-hitting shows like The Moxie Show, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, What a Cartoon, Dexter's Laboratory, and of course, many more. Some amazing shows for sure, and some that shaped the way we see cartoons nowadays. Personally, I feel that the shows that Cartoon Network released back then were nothing but true standards for what cartoons should strive to be. But even through all this, Nick was on top because of SpongeBob. But this brought some serious competition to Nick. I'm sure people will say that Cartoon Network had way more of an impact on them than Nick did when it first came out. But you can't disagree that Nick was on top through all of this. Nick was doing good, but things started to change over the years. Many of the original shows that came out on Nick were ending, and the new shows were coming out were fine and decent at the most, but weren't hard-hitting titles like the older shows. Over time, they were losing fans, and losing that momentum they once had. It seems like it was going to be the end. And that only led to another point. Cartoon Network started getting even more momentum than Nick. SpongeBob was losing its steam, and it was very obvious for everyone to notice. Nick had brought in some live action shows, and they were decent for the most part, but I don't think they really helped them stay afloat. And as for nowadays, the live action shows aren't really what we need right now. They're all just the regular, trying to be funny comedies. It seems like Nick was heading for a downfall, and that's where it went. It was only time before we hit the fall. Now, it's kind of hard to pinpoint when the fall began, but I'd suggest it was during the years of 2013 to 2016 when the fall began. Shows like Tough Puppy, Winx Club, Kung Fu Panda, Legends of Awesomeness, The Legend of Korra, Robot Monster, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Monster vs. Aliens, Sanjay and Craig, Breadwinners, and more came out. Fine shows for the most part, but not the hard-hitting shows like they had back in the day. The issue was most jokes came down to gross out humor and nothing more. Every now and then a show could get an actual chuckle from me, as they had some good jokes now and then, but nothing you'd watch the whole episode for. With Steven Hillenburg gone and Schneider fired, a lot of people who made the amazing titles and shows just left. Nick fell into obscurity. That is where it has remained as of today. So the question is, what happened to Nick? I think it is simple, and actually kind of sad. What happened to Nick was SpongeBob. The very thing that brought them fame also brought them to their obscurity. All shows tried to be SpongeBob but failed in the end. So really, SpongeBob made Nick good and ruined it. So what would Nick be like without SpongeBob? Would it be as obscure as it is right now? Or would it be more popular? That is something we'll just have to wonder. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Also, if you want to see more about me, go follow my Instagram and Twitter, DaStashY. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.